So today we're going to be talking about Bloodhound, which is an Active Directory reconnaissance and auditing tool that maps relationships between Active Directory objects. So basically, you're going to get the information from your Active Directory. You're going to dump all that information into a database, and Bloodhound is going to show the relationships of all those objects to find potential misconfigurations and potential vulnerabilities. Any user in the domain, it does not have to be a privileged user. Any user that the attacker has compromised the username and password, and we have done many videos of how that could possibly happen within a network. Once the attacker has that information, they're going to be able to use the commands to synchronize on. I'm not going to say synchronize because they're not downloading anything. They're going to be able to query Active Directory for all these LDAP fields, and all that information is going to come down. The attacker is going to be able to then use that information, put it into a database, and once it's in the database, they're going to use another application. In this case, Bloodhound, we're using Community Edition to see the relationships between all objects. Now, this is a simple menu that I have here. You would need to know the path and the syntax that you're looking for, or the syntax if you go through the cipher, or you could use the pre-built queries that you have down here. So if I go to search, let me come down here, you're going to be able to have pre-built queries that you don't have to know the syntax for. As you can see right here, this is the query that I want, and this is a syntax that you would need to know. But you could go through all this, and you're going to be able to do whatever you need to do. Something that you have to keep in mind is that it is going to be looking for misconfigurations. So in this case, we have dangerous privileges, and we're going to have a lot of information like ASREP roastable users. And as you could see, it's going to show the no corrupt user that I used to create another video and demonstrate another Active Directory attack, but it's going to have all that information for you, so you don't have to know the syntax. And if you keep scrolling down, you also are going to find that you're going to be able to do something with Active Directory hygiene. And if you keep scrolling down, you're going to see more queries and queries, and you're going to see NTLM relay type of attacks. So if you click on this, for instance, all members of protected users, and you do run, and if it shows no results match your criteria, what it means is that Bloodhound did not find any relationships between users that could yield that type of result or vulnerability of an NTLM relay type of attacks. And as you could see, there's another whole section for Azure, that if you are synchronizing your AD with Azure, you're going to be able to run some queries on that as well. Now, this is something that pen testers use, and this is something that red teams and blue teams use all the time, because it is something that you need to know. As I mentioned earlier before, if anyone is able to gain access to your network, let's say over the Wi-Fi or the physical network, and they connect their computers, and they already know the username and a password of a domain user, they're going to be able to collect all that information. Now, how do they do it? Let's go right into it. So let me go over to my fresh installation of Kali in here. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to show you that we already have the collector, the bloodhound-python script that's going to collect all that information for us, right? So I'm going to just come in here. I'm going to go right into it. And then I'm going to type the command that is going to collect all that information from my Active Directory. And this is what we have. We're going to be using bloodhound python -d, which is a domain. We need to specify the domain, the name of the domain. Then we need to specify the user in this case and the password. And that's information that we have previously collected through different type of attacks. And we're going to point to the IP address of the domain, and we want to collect all that information, not just some of the information. We want to collect everything. So I'm gonna come over here and hit enter. And that's gonna do its magic. And as you could see right here, it has found one domain, it has found two computers. This is a test domain, obviously, that I'm running this on. 52 groups, 11 users, so on and so forth. So if I do go ahead and unzip the file just to see the content of my file, you're going to see that it has collected information about the domain, computers, GPO, users, groups, containers, and OUs, and everything is in a JSON format. Now, this information in and by itself is not going to be able to use that useful to you. Yes, you can open the JSON files. Maybe you can find a JSON viewer and view information in the JSON format, but the information by itself is not going to be that relevant. You would like to have everything combined, and this is where the relevance of bloodhounds comes into, because they're going to be able to correlate all that information for you. So what we need to do is to, first of all, we need to install a database where we're going to be able to have this information, or it's going to be able to manage that information. And then we're going to install the application Bloodhound, because this Bloodhound Python is just the collector that is collecting the information, is not the graphical user interface of Bloodhound. And just like anything else that we do in Kali sudo apt update, we're gonna just do the regular updates. You don't have to do this if you have updated your system, but this is something that we do as part of best practice to make sure we have the most relevant information or packages when we're gonna be doing the installation. And now that I have updated my system, I'm gonna install the Neo4j, which is the graphical database that Bloodhound uses to correlate all that information that we're gonna be collected, or in our case, that we already collected, right? But again, the information by itself that we collected is not useful. We're gonna install the database so we can process that information with Bloodhound. So I'm gonna hit enter right here. Okay, my installation took just a couple of seconds to complete, depending on how your system was running. It may take longer or less than that. What we are going to do now is installing or upgrading, I should say, the Dataverse version, because what happens is, if you don't do this, actually you may not need to do this. I have to do this every time that I install this, because there's a mismatch in the database version. So to fix that database mismatch between the Postgres and the database that Bloodhound is suspecting, you have to update the database version, and this is how you would do it. Or you could just do the setup, and if you don't get an error message to update the database, then you don't have to worry about it. But I'd rather do this now because I know that it's gonna fail later if I don't do it. So I'm just gonna come over here. Let me do this and let it do its magic. So it looks like we have to start the service first. So let me start the service, and then we're gonna try updating the database one more time. Okay, now that it's done, let me come here and do this. And let's see, it has been updated from 241 to 242. So we're ready to do the other section of the installation. And for that, basically, what we're doing is just typing Bloodhound setup, and we should be prompted to do the installation. We're going to say yes, and it's going to do its magic, upgrading and installing and removing. Yes, we're fine with that. Hit enter. And once our installation has been successful, we're going to do Bloodhound start to start the application. Do you want to run Bloodhound setup now? Yes. And as you could see, it is starting the database as well, and it's doing its magic. And as you could see, we first need to set up a new password, and it automatically opened the database screen right here where we're going to log in with the default credentials for the database, and then we're going to be prompted, or we should be prompted, to change the password once we do it. The username and password is the same, neo4j, neo4j. Let me connect. Not now, thank you. And now we're prompted to change the password neo4j to, this is my test environment, so I could do whatever I want, but I wouldn't use neo4j2 as my new password. But you could, once we have changed the database password, we need to update that information or the new password in the database config file. So for that, we're going to have to, let me just close this. We're going to have to open up um, a new tab terminal, and we're going to edit the database credentials with the new password that we just typed. In our case, we're going to be using Nano, but you could use any other editor, and this is the file that we are going to edit. And I'll show you once we get there. Let me authenticate. What you're going to do, you are going to find the Neo4j information, as you could see right here. The username is Neo4j, and this is the default password, but I need to update that information with the new password that I just typed, or created, I should say, that I changed that to. I'm going to say bloodhound start, and now it is starting the database. Let's see what's going to happen. This time it should work. Okay, and here we are. As you could see, the database was started successfully, and it has created this link, the local link 127.0.0.1 on port 8080, and these are the default credentials that we're going to use to log into Bloodhound, which is admin, and it automatically opened the new browser window for us. So Bloodhound Community Edition, I don't know why it is prompting me for the email address, but the username and the password is admin. Let me just type in that information. And here we are. Once we do that, we need to upload or import the Active Directory information that we collected previously. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just click on this button, and I'm going to open my home folder, and it should be right here, bloodhound.zip. You could upload the zip file or the JSON files, it's the same thing. And I'm gonna come down here and click on upload. Now that's gonna take a few seconds to complete, because this is a small database, a small file that I took from my test environment. I only have a handful of users in there, so it's not that complex. But if you're doing this in a work environment, it's gonna take longer than that, right? So let me. So if I come here to the administration and file ingest, you see that it's still ingesting. So we're gonna let it do its magic. It's gonna take a minute or so to complete. So it went from ingesting to analyzing to make sure the format is correct, and now it is complete, meaning that we have all that AD information in Bloodhound for analysis. Now we can go to Explore. And this is what I was showing you before in my other screen. You have the option of typing the information manually if you would like regular user one, to find the correlation that you would like to find. And if you click on it, you're going to see information about the user, but that's not that important, even though it's useful. So from here, we can go to the ciphers. And as I mentioned before, you could use this, you could use the saved or default queries right from here. If you're lucky enough to get this menu to work for you, or this screen. So here we go. We're going to go to domain information, all domain admins. This is a syntax that is going to use, but in reality, we want to use a graphical interface unless you are one of those who memorize in syntax. And here you have it. And again, the imagination that you have is going to be the limit when it comes to it, what you're looking for. If you're looking for specific things, what I would advise you to do if you don't see the saved query for that is Google it. Right? Google what would be the proper search, the syntax for that, the cipher that you would need to type, and then you could take it from one there. As you could see, you can see different correlations between one object and the other. This object, in this case, this user is member of a groups, and if I expand that, you see the correlation in here. Let me see if I can close this, and you're going to see the correlation between that user and the groups and the rest of the domain. Keep exploring. So this is just a foundational video about Bloodhound, and as you could see right in here, they do have an enterprise version that you could try. And obviously with the enterprise versions, you're going to have or more bells and whistles when it comes to using the applications. And that's something that you may want to try if you have a large Active Directory environment that you would like to perform an audit. So thanks for watching. If you found this information useful, all I ask you to do is to click on the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll talk to you on the next video.